Mara used to think love was supposed to feel like fireworks every day, breathless, thrilling, unpredictable. But real love, the kind she had with Daniel, was quieter. It was steady. It was warm. It was the way he always made her coffee in the morning without asking how she wanted it because he already knew. It was the way he kissed her forehead before leaving for work. It was the way he held her at night like she was something precious. She loved him. She really did. But after 3 years together, the edges of her life began to feel dull, predictable. She hated herself for even thinking it, but the thought still crept in. Is this it? Is this all there is? She never told Daniel. She didn't want to hurt him. She didn't want to sound ungrateful. So she kept it inside, letting the restlessness grow roots. And then the new guy at her office arrived. His name was Lucas, charming, confident, effortlessly funny. He flirted with her from the first week, and she told herself it was harmless. Just a little attention. Just a little spark. Something to make her feel interesting again. Their conversations were easy. Too easy. He made her laugh in ways she hadn't laughed in a long time. He complimented her hair, her outfits, her smile. He noticed things Daniel didn't comment on anymore. Lunches together became routine. Then drinks after work. Then nights where she didn't come home until after midnight. She told herself she could stop anytime. But she didn't want to. Every time she left the apartment, Daniel would kiss her cheek and say, "Have fun with the girls. Don't stay out too late." And every time, guilt twisted in her stomach like a knife. She would smile, thank him, and walk out the door to meet another man. She hated herself for it, but she didn't stop. One evening, she and Lucas went to a restaurant she had always wanted to try. White tablecloths, dim lighting, soft music. A place Daniel had said was too expensive for just a dinner. She felt glamorous sitting there, sipping wine, laughing at Lucas's jokes. She felt seen, desired, exciting. Then she glanced toward the entrance. Her heart stopped. Daniel was standing there, talking to an associate from work. He looked relaxed, unaware, until his eyes drifted across the room and landed on her. She froze. Lucas noticed her sudden stillness. "What's wrong?" "My boyfriend," she whispered. "He's here." "You're joking. We need to leave. Now." But it was too late. Daniel's expression changed slowly, like a man watching a nightmare unfold in real time. Confusion, recognition, hurt, and finally disgust. He didn't storm over. He didn't yell. He didn't make a scene. He just looked at her, then at Lucas, then back at her. And he walked out. Mara shot up from her seat, her chair scraping loudly against the floor. She didn't even look at Lucas. She ran. "Daniel," she called, weaving through tables, nearly tripping over her own feet. He didn't stop. She caught up to him at his car, breathless, shaking. Please let me explain." He opened the door, but didn't get in. "Explain what?" His voice was quiet, but it cut deeper than shouting ever could. "How you've been lying to my face. How you've been sleeping with a coworker while telling me you're out with friends." She flinched. I wasn't. Don't lie to me again." His eyes were wet, but he refused to let the tears fall. "How long?" She hesitated. "Just a second." But it was enough. "Months," she whispered. He closed his eyes like the word physically hurt him. "So while you slept in my bed, while you told me you loved me, you were seeing him." "I do love you," she cried. "I swear I do." "If that's what you call love," he said, voice breaking, "then I don't want any part of it." She reached for him, but he stepped back. "I'm leaving for a few days. When I get back, I want you gone. Pack your things and move out." "Daniel, please." He got into the car and shut the door before she could finish. She stood there, helpless, watching the man who had loved her more than anyone drive away without looking back. She didn't return to Lucas. She didn't even think about him. She went home alone and cried until her throat was raw. All night she called Daniel, texted him, begged him to talk to her. But he had blocked her. The next morning, she packed her things in silence. Every item she touched felt like a memory she didn't deserve anymore. The sweater he bought her. the mug he made her, the blanket they picked out together. She folded them all with shaking hands. Her friend, the one she had used as an excuse for her fake girls' nights, let her stay at her apartment. But even she was angry. "You dragged me into your lie," her friend said, arms crossed. "And you lost the best guy you'll ever have." Mara didn't argue. She couldn't. She just nodded and cried. Lucas tried calling her too, but she never answered. She didn't want him. She never had. He was an escape, a distraction, a spark she mistook for something meaningful. Now she saw it clearly. He wasn't worth losing Daniel. Nothing was. Days passed. Then weeks. Daniel never reached out. She saw pictures of him on social media, smiling with friends, hiking, going out, living his life. He looked tired in some photos, thinner in others, but he was trying. Healing. Without her. Mara, meanwhile, felt like she was living in a fog. She went to work, came home, slept, repeated. She deleted Lucas's number. She stopped wearing makeup. She stopped laughing. Every night, she replayed the moment Daniel looked at her in that restaurant. The disappointment in his eyes. The heartbreak. The disgust. She wished she could go back. She wished she had talked to him when she first felt restless. She wished she had chosen honesty instead of secrecy. She wished she had remembered what she had instead of chasing something she never needed. But regret doesn't rewind time. It only lingers. It only reminds. It only hurts. Months later, she saw Daniel by chance at a grocery store. He looked healthier, stronger, more himself. He saw her too. For a moment, their eyes met. She opened her mouth to speak, to apologize again, to say something, anything. But he simply nodded politely, like she was a stranger he vaguely recognized, and walked past her. No anger. No bitterness. Just nothing. And somehow that hurt more than anything else. Because she realized then that she hadn't just lost him. She had lost the version of herself who had been worthy of him. She had thrown away the one person who had loved her without conditions, without games, without hesitation. And she would spend the rest of her life knowing she had broken something she could never fix. Subscribe to the channel for more audio stories.